Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Radiant Butterfly 24. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2026, and I'm gonna do a video. It's been a while since I uploaded videos, and I had just been, busy, and also, I would check out other TI channels. And so, and then also, when I'm out, I'm like documenting the targeting that's going on. And so, just wanted to do a video of over the weekend of a restaurant that ended up going to, and I want to do a picture image video, and there's a total of 6 images that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you what went on at this restaurant, and of the targeting tactics and the perp tactics that was going on. So starting with this first picture, you'll see here, this is the booth that was sitting at, and I was able to get a picture of the booth after was done eating. And and so so I was sitting here, and then the person that I was with was sitting here. Now, mind you, I'm going to bring up this other picture. I'll probably bring up this picture again. Okay, so this image here. Okay, so you see the exit sign here. This is like the entrance and the exit of the restaurant here. And then there was like a hostess booth, uh, like in this area here. So ended up coming in, letting the person know, wanted a table for 2. And so was told that it was going to be a wait. And so I already knew that it was going to be a wait because at the time they were rather crowded. So it was about, I say, like a little after 4 p.m. And so ended up, went to the restroom, because you see the restroom signs here. And so the restroom was like, past the bar area, because this where you see the TVs here, this is the bar area. So from coming from the restroom, came back over in this area, which is a little seating area. And so you can kind of tell that the hostess was being suspicious. And, like as if, had a, laugh and had a smirk on her face, but she was with a waitress, which that waitress ended up not being the waitress that was serving at the table that was sitting at. And so, she was basically saying, well, going to get a table ready for you. It has to be cleaned off. And, but my thing was like, why are you getting with this other waitress? Like they were up to something. And I knew what they were up to, because the thing about it was, the knew that my location was tracked at that restaurant, and knowing already before even going into the restaurant about how the location is being tracked. So so basically, she was saying, getting the table ready or whatnot. So uh then, she eventually went back to the booth because actually it wasn't that long because she mentioned that it was going to be a wait. So it was no more than, I'll say no more than like maybe 20 minutes. And so she ended up going to the back over to the booth, getting the menus, and was told to follow her. So mind you, she just only had the menus. And then she placed the menus down. And so mind you, going back to this picture here, this image here. And so, like I said, the only thing she had given us was the menus and didn't give us any silverware. So, you know, was kind of like, looking through the menus and sat down, looked through the menu. And so eventually the person that was waiting on the table eventually came and was, I'll say, was sitting there for about maybe like another 15 minutes. And then when the person that was going to be serving us came to the table and just ended up, placing the what you were going to drink and then the food order. And so, but before that, as if he recognized that didn't have any silverware. He's like, "Oh, you all don't have any silverware." So he went to go get the silverware before taking the order. So I'm gonna like show you something here on this image right here. So this was a tactic that was noticed. Okay, so this is where um, we ended up getting like a carry out boxes for our food. So this is afterwards or whatever. Just wanted to show you the different silverware that was given. So here was like a fork and a butter knife. And then he gives me like um this steak knife here and then the fork. So mind you, okay, they're known for having like for the steaks or whatnot. So my thing is, how did you end up bringing two sets of different silverware to the table and didn't even take our order yet? So this was my plate here with the bigger um, knife or steak knife or whatever. Now, mind you, I don't even eat steaks. And then, like I said, he didn't even take the order. So, so that was a tactic that I noticed or whatnot. And then, like, the tactic of, having to wait, because even after the order, um, even after the order, placing the order, had to ended up waiting. But I had like a little side uh I guess like a side dish that went with my meal. So this was my meal here. So of it having like the salmon. So I wouldn't have needed that knife. So I'm just showing you what what I had ordered, but I didn't need a steak knife for the salmon. And so I'm going to show you how close was sitting near the bar. So this is like the bar area right here in that little walkway area. So this is the thing. I'm going to go back to another this image right here. And the reason why, like, the hostess, I figured maybe the reason why she was acting suspicious, because they were being told what to do involving the targeting and to place us there at that first booth. Now, mind you, this is what I noticed. So in this picture, you'll see it's two cameras here. It's a camera here and it's a camera here. And to place us at that booth, you know, to watch us. And so or to watch me. So these are the two cameras here. And so that's what the, like, with the hostess, you know, snickering and giggling, you know, because they were told, you know, what to do. So mind you, going back to this image here, so there were, okay, mind you, this was like a higher up booth, and this was like the lower booth. So these are the two. First, you will come past this booth, and then you'll see this booth. But then there's a turn here. If you make a left, then, you know, there were booths in that little aisle there. And then if you go this way toward the right, then there were seating in that area as well. But also another tactic was they was sitting here of the door where the employees will go in and out, you know, bringing out the food. So that was the thing where, you know, being watched, and then seeing them doing their little street theater in the restaurant. So I'm going to go to this image here. So I'm going to tell you about this image here. And so I had to blot out some things. Okay, this is an employee here, right? And so so while sitting there, you know, eating, I had noticed this employee here. Now, mind you, he's getting ready to leave, has his bag, and the cell phone is pointing in the direction of where was seated. And so they were doing some street theater, him and some of the employees. I recall one of the customers as if they had came back as if they had forgotten something. And so he was kind of like the loud one. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I saw that it was placed over here, you know, and he went over to the booth. And so you know, just like making a scene or whatnot of uh whatever the customer had left, like as if um they made sure that it was secure or whatnot. And then I thought about something else. I'm gonna get to that as well, about the waiter, what the person that was serving the table what um, that person ended up doing. So so next thing I know, after like dealing with the customer of retrieving whatever that was left, then he was making a scene as if he was getting ready to leave. Now, mind you, all these employees that were working, because also, like I said, was sitting near the bar, but then also sitting like you can see where like if where they were like making the drinks, like getting the ice or whatnot, that was like close to um where was seated. And so all of a sudden, after with the customer, he's like making an announcement that he's getting ready to leave. All right, you all, I'm getting ready to leave. See you all later, and see, he was told to leave. So, and wanted that to be seen, and like I said, had his cell phone up, and had his bag, and had the phone aiming um in the direction where was seated. And so and then with the person that was serving the table, like I had mentioned how we were sitting there and waiting for uh the person to um bring out, he was going to bring out the drinks or whatever. So and as if it had us waiting, ended up coming by the table and was like, oh, I had to deal with a decline payment, having to deal with a decline payment. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you need to be telling um and he had told me that. And it's like, well, why would you be telling me that? But that's what they probably told him to say. Like that was part of the tactic. He had to deal with a decline payment, you know. And instead of just saying, I got a little busy, so I'm um bringing, going to bring out, whatever he was going to bring out to the table. And then so yeah, basically, and just was seeing like perps coming in, and with they little colors that they had on, it was people in there just looking like they wouldn't have normally been at that restaurant. And then there was another thing that I was trying to think of that ended up happening at the restaurant. And it'll come to me. But this is the tactics that they tend to do. And then just having you to wait. Oh, this is what I was going to say. So it's as if was seated at the booth and seeing people come in afterwards, and having you to sit there, and then they bringing out food to the other tables of these people that came in afterwards, and then you seeing them leaving out, and you still sitting at the table. And it's like um we was here before they were, you know and so that was another tactic they were doing, um as if these people came in afterwards, and then seeing them that they already ate, and then they leaving out. before, um, we had left out. So, and then also they want to show like the manager. They always want to show the manager. The manager came out, and you could tell it was the manager because he had on like a suit jacket. But when the hostess was saying about the table, getting it ready and cleaned or whatever, as if she was going to clean the table. But when I'm gonna bring it back to this image here, and then I'm gonna sort of in the video, because I don't want the video to be long. So there was a so you see this is like a high up booth, and then like across from it was another high up booth, because this is like the aisleway of where the seating area is as well. But these are the two seatings where you would come to first. And so, like I said, and I had noticed like the cameras, um, like in the direction of where seated at. But going back to it was a booth across from this one, but you have to go into this aisle, and then it's right there. So that's where the manager was like cleaning off that table, and had thought about how that was the setup of having to sit here, and for the employees to watch, as well as being in the direction of the cameras. So this is what they do. And so was going to sit at the higher booth, but notice the cameras like after the fact. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that that was the reason why of sitting, having to sit here. And they were told to do this. Because like I said, the cameras was right here across from, in that little aisle area, which is let me go back to this image here. Okay, so you can see the cameras right here. And so it's within this aisle. And actually it's, within the restaurant, but yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to do like a quick video. I'm gonna do try to do some more videos. I have some images and videos from that I haven't posted, and gonna try to get to that to be able to start uploading those videos back onto the channel. So let me know what you all think about what I said about what I perceived that was going on, of the pointing out the tactics. So I'm gonna end the video here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for upcoming content. Thank you for watching my channel, and everyone, stay tuned for more videos.